The, the budgeting method that actually works even if you are broke. Last year I had a friend making $85,000 a year who couldn't explain where his money went. Not a little confused, completely in the dark. He'd check his bank account on 28th of every month and just wins. And the wild thing is not unusual. Most people who feel broke aren't actually broke. They're just unaware. There's a difference between not having enough money and not having a system to see where it's going. In the next 17 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact budgeting framework that took my friend from paycheck to paycheck patiently to having a 6-month emergency fund in under a year. Without him cutting out a coffee or cancelling Netflix or any of that performative fragility and nonsense. This isn't about deprivation, it's about visibility. Let's get into it. 1. Why most budgeting fails or budgets fail? Before I show you what works, let's talk about why the budget you have tried before probably didn't. Most people first budgeting attempt look like this. Open a spreadsheet, list every category they can think of: grocery, rent, gas, entertainment, assign numbers that feel right, and then abandon it with 3 weeks. Here's the problem: that approach assumes two things that usually aren't true. 1. That you actually know your spending pattern well enough to guess accurate number up front. 2. That you have the willpower to manually track every transaction forever. Most budget aren't math problem. They are a behavior design problem. If your system requires you to be disciplined every single day, it will fail. Not because you're weak, but because that's just not how human work long term. So, the framework I'm about to show you is built different. It is designed to work even on your laziest, most distracted month. 2. The foundation. Know your number. Step 1 isn't building budget. It's finding what I call your baseline number. The number that tells you if you're financially stable or not. Here is how to find it. Pull up your last 60 days of bank and credit card statements. I know, tedious, but you only do this once. And add up to everything that come in. Then add up to everything that come in. Add up everything that come in. Then add up everything that went out. The difference is your baseline. If it is possible, or if it's positive, congratulations. If it's positive, congratulations. If it's positive, congratulations. You have margin. If it's negative or close to zero, you have just found exactly why things feel tight and how. And now you have the real number to work with instead of vague feeling of stress. Here is the key insight most people miss. You don't need to categorize every dollar to start. You just need this one number because it tells you whether you are in growth mode or fix it mode. That changes everything about next step. A quick example says you bring in $4,200 a month after tax and your statement shows 4,550 going out. Your baseline is negative 350. That's not a personality flaw. That's just a gap. And a gap can be closed with information, not guilty. 3. The 3-bucket system. Now, here's the actual system, and I promise this is simpler than anything you have tried. Instead of 15 categories, you use the buckets. Bucket 1, fixed cost, rent, insurance, minimum debt payment, subscription, anything that's the same or close to the same. Every month, this is the stuff you can calculate once and basically forget. Budget 2 or bucket 2. Flexible spending, grocery, gas, eating out, shopping, fun money. This is where almost all leakage happens, and it's the only bucket you active manage week to week. But bucket 3, future you. Saving, investing, debit payoff beyond the minimum. This is the bucket most budgets put last. And that's exactly the mistake. It's the shift. You fund future, you first. Right. When you get paid before a single dollar touches flexible spending, even if it's just 5% to start, the order matters more than the amount. Why? Because money that still sits in your check account feel available, and available money gets spent. Not because you're irresponsible, but because that's what the checking account balance are for. If you are 4 in your brain, move it out of sight and you will remove daily decision entirely. For flexible spending, especially here, the only rule that matters, pick one number for the week, not the month. I have $150 for grocery and going out this week. Is something your brain can actually track. I have $600 for the month. Is something your brain will absolutely lose track of by week of 2. Automating so willing power. Automating so willing power doesn't matter. This next part is the difference between budget that lasts 3 weeks and one that lasts 3 years. Automation. The day your paycheck hits, you want many decisions as possible already made for you. That means automatic transfer to saving. Some days are payday, not whenever I remember. Automatic minimum payment or every debt late fee are one of the few financial mistakes with literally zero offset. And if your bank allows it, separate your account just for flexible spending load with your week number. When that account empty, you're done spending for the week. No spreadsheet required. No willpower required. The system doesn't work. This is the part people skip because it feels like extra setup. But you are trading 20 minutes of setup now for the having to make the same hard decision 365 times a year. What to do? Session 5. What to do when the number don't work? Now, what if you do all things and the math still doesn't work? What is fixed cost plus reasonable flexible number is more than you dream. This is where Most financial advisors get it wrong by jumping straight to cut you spending. Sometimes that's right, but often the bigger level is on the income side, and creators who avoiding talking about it's because it's less satisfying content that stop buying later. To question worthy sitting with honesty. Is there a fixed cost that actually flexible if you make one phone call? Insurance, a subscription, bundles, a refinance. These are one-time conversations that pay off for a year. And is there a realistic way to add income? Every temporary while you build margin, not start a business smaller than that skill you already have that someone would pay for this month. The goal isn't to live smaller forever. It is close the gap fast as possible so the system has room to work. Session 6 month result. The 6-month result. Going back to my friend, here's what changed in 6 months, not from some dramatic overhaul, but from this system. He found his baseline number was negative $200. Found one subscription bundle. He didn't need saving $40. Pick up a freelance project choosing skills from his day job, extra $300 some month, and automate 10% to saving the day he got paid. Before he ever saw it in his check account. None of that acquired spreadsheet every day. It requires setting the system up to 1 and letting it run. That's really the whole point of this video. You don't need more discipline. You need a system where the default behavior is the right behavior. As I finish, if you want actually to do this instead of just nodding along, here's your one task today. Pull last 60 days of statement and find your baseline number. That's it. Don't build the whole system yet. Just find that one number. If this was useful, the next video in the series break down exactly how to build an emergency fund or an income that doesn't feel like it has any room left. Link up on the screen and in the description. Subscribe if you want more of this. No hype, no getting rich quick, just system that actually hold up. After the motivation, we are off. See you in the next.